This is Shelley Kraft coming to you live on SNNLive. We're at the SeeThruEquity MicroCap Investor Conference, New York City, 2014. I have with me Ron Woessner of COPsync. It's a publicly traded company and the symbol is COYN. Ron, welcome to SNNLive.
Shelley, thank you for having me.
It's good to have you.
Thank you very much.
Let's get right into it.
Okay.
COPsync. I think I have an idea. Why don't you tell us?
COPsync is a law enforcement real-time information sharing and communication system that enables patrol officers to access federal, state, and local databases and share information between and among themselves as if they were one law enforcement agency.
Why is it only now that this is something that's becoming so, from a standpoint of it being needed, that's ridiculous. We all know that. So you got the space.
Yes. This system was developed by two law enforcement officers in the great state of Texas because they had a friend that was a DPS highway patrol officer that was killed making a routine traffic stop on someone who had made a threat against law enforcement officer 8 months prior, and that information was not shared to any law enforcement agency other than the one agency where that threat was made. And so the founders of my company, COPsync, decided that they were smart and they were cops and they wanted to do something about this terrible problem in the U.S. today.
So it was a matter of just being able to share the information, right? I mean, it's being gathered. What took so long?
Law enforcement has approximately 1.3 million law enforcement officers in the U.S. spread across tens of thousands of law enforcement jurisdictions. The average size law enforcement agency in the U.S. today is 8, and those tens of thousands of law enforcement jurisdictions are serviced by 2,200 technology vendors. And so you'll never have 2,200 technology vendors that will cooperate, and it took an independent third party like COPsync to come in and say, we will be the trusted intermediary. We will be the one that will provide this connectivity between and among all law enforcement agencies in the U.S.
So where do you get your information from?
The information, we access the federal FBI database, we access the several state law enforcement databases, and then we access local law enforcement databases where the vendors have allowed us access to that information. And then the COPsync network, the system itself, our officers are generating activity every day. The thousands of officers on the network are creating activity and making traffic stops, creating suspicious activity reports, having field contacts, serving warrants, writing citations. All that information goes into the database so that a subsequent officer then, when they're making a traffic stop or having contact with any individual, will have access to information from these existing law enforcement databases I mentioned, as well as all the data coming into the COPsync network database. So let me give you a quick success story. A patrol officer makes a traffic stop on a vehicle, recovers a couple hundred pounds of marijuana. The driver says, why didn't you stop the car in front of me? That was the decoy vehicle. The officer then goes into the COPsync system, creates a record to be on the lookout for this vehicle because he had the license plate. 10 days later, hundreds of miles away, counties away in the state of Texas, another patrol officer running the license plate, boom, up pops this prior record. Officer makes a traffic stop, discovers a couple $100,000 worth of cash in the gas tank, and it was connecting those two dots of information that enabled this success story, and this is what the COPsync network, the value it provides on a day-to-day basis.
So how does COPsync make money?
We make money via a software as a service, recurring revenue subscription model. So our law enforcement customers pay us annually recurring subscription fees, and then we have a base of schools that use our threat alert service that connects the schools directly to the patrol officers, and they pay us annually recurring subscription fees as well. So that so we have new customers being added year over year, we have high renewal rates, and we increase our subscription base and our revenues and our cash inflows year after year from this recurring and ever-expanding base of customers.
I wouldn't be at all surprised if not only the company starts to expand even further than it has, because it's a no-brainer. It's so important. I also think that as you grow, what are some of the other products that will be like side attractions? Because I could see the wheels turning.
We have the school threat alert service that is being used that has been paid for by the state of New Hampshire for every school in the state of New Hampshire, as an example, and we want to take that success in New Hampshire and replicate it in other states. In addition, we have a service that enables officers to collect payments for outstanding warrants at the side of the road. And so rather than arresting the person, taking them into the jail, the scenario is, well, I see you have a warrant at XYZ jurisdiction. We can take a credit card for right now and just clear the warrant, sir or ma'am, and then you can go on your way. Otherwise, I'm going to have to arrest you, take you to jail. Which would you prefer?
Well, I think that's a great source of revenue, and I think it's convenient to the public. So where do you see the company heading in 2015?
In 2015, we're going to expand our national footprint. Our focus right now has been in the state of Texas and adjoining states. We are expanding our footprint. We now have customers in the state of Mississippi. We have customers in the state of Massachusetts and New Hampshire. We are talking with customers here in the great state of New York. We have plans to talk with customers in Washington State, Florida, and California. In sum, 2015 will be our year of beginning our national expansion to provide this one network connecting all law enforcement in the U.S. on this common information sharing and communication platform.
How long does it take for the data coming in from a new state that's joining the service to be updated?
The data becomes, this is a real-time system, and so we have two data sources. We have two categories of data sources. The data that the law enforcement officers create as they, in the ordinary course of their business, all that data goes into our system, and then we connect to the state database. And it takes a short period of time to get a certification to access the state database, and once you access it, then that data flow is instantaneous.
I'll tell you, personally, I don't see any resistance to this footprint going national, in my opinion. What do you think?
We completely agree, and that's our objective.
Now, to give more information about the company, let's get your website out there.
COPsync, and the trading symbol COYN. Website is www.COPsync.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ron Woessner, COPsync. COPsync. It's a publicly traded company, COYN. I'm Shelley Kraft. This is SNNLive, and we're coming to you live from SeeThruEquity MicroCap Investor Conference, New York City, 2014. Thank you, Ron, for coming on to SNNLive.
Thank you.